Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello, dear students. I am Dr. Mona Simalti from HNB Garhwal University, Srinagar, Garhwal. So, dear students, today I will be discussing GMP guidelines with reference to a sterile product. So, specific requirements for manufacture of sterile product, including parenterals as well as ophthalmic dosage form. So, in today's learning outcome, what we are going to learn, let's see. So, we are going to learn today, after completing this module, about the general guidelines with reference to the sterile products, building and civil work, air handling systems, especially environment control, environment monitoring, garments and sanitization, a specific requirement with reference to the clothing of the persons who are working in the sterile manufacturing area and equipments. So all these things we are going to study in this module. So these guidelines are GMP guidelines, okay, with specific requirements to sterile dosage form. And in previous module also I discussed GMP guidelines, general GMP guidelines for all pharmaceuticals. Okay, so this also I will be discussing in two parts, part 1 and part 2. So now in this part 1, specific requirements of sterile manufacturing as per good manufacturing practices guidelines provided by the authorized agencies. Okay, so in this general guidelines, sterile products. So let me first introduce you to sterile product, but I really hope that all of you are familiar with sterile products. Sterile products are irrigating solution, parenteral preparation, injections, if okay, and ophthalmic preparations. So this actually directly it comes in contact with the blood circulation, because if we talk about injection, injection is directly administered via different routes, okay, and the drug is directly administered to the systemic circulation, it directly goes to blood, right? So sterility is very important, or we can say sterility is must for parenteral and ophthalmic dosage form. So they are very critical basically dosage form and sensitive in nature. So a high degree of precaution and prevention and preparations are needed for sterile products, right? Okay, dampness, dirt and darkness are to be avoided to ensure the aseptic conditions. So that is why the role of aseptic area, the environment control, the air handling system, basically the air control and environment control, these are two specific and very important aspect with reference to parenteral dosage form, right? So that is why all manufacturer and the standard authorities who provides guidelines, they take care of these two things very cautiously. All right, so this also we study in our general plant layout for parenterals. Okay, so there shall be a strict compliance in the prescribed standard, especially in the manner of supply of water. Yes, this is important. Air, yes, and active material in the maintenance of hygienic environment. So this is a general concept with reference to the manufacturing area of sterile dosage form. So next we will move to the building and civil work. So building and civil work, that means in this a specific point we will discuss what are the requirements for building and civil work with reference to the manufacturing of sterile dosage form, that keeping in view of maintaining the sterility of an overall the overall quality of the parenteral or ophthalmic products which are to be manufactured. Okay, so what are the requirements for building and civil work? Okay, so point number 1 under this is the building shall be built on proper foundation with standardized material to avoid cracks in critical area. Like critical area, aseptic area, preparation, filling and sealing room. Okay, so these three are the very important areas in manufacturing section. Basically aseptic solution preparation, okay, filling and sealing. Okay, now the next thing is the location of services like water, steam, gas shall be such that their services or repair shall not pose any threat to the integrity of facility. Water lines shall not pose any threat of leakage of aseptic area. So that we can ensure that the aseptic area, that means that is completely free from any contamination. Okay. Okay, next point under civil and the requirement of building is the manufacturing area. It should be clearly separated from the supporting area. So this we already know that the parenteral manufacturing areas are always very far from the other manufacturing units. Okay, and washing and component preparation area, storage area and other product manufacturing area. Okay, so preparation area, the bulk product manufacturing and the non-aseptic building area. Okay, so it should be completely separate. Change areas, okay, it is also it should not be very close to the manufacturing area. The operations like removal of outer cupboard, wrapping of primary material shall be done in cartooning area, which are segregated from the washing area. Okay, so all these things we have to keep it in mind. Now aseptic area. Okay, the requirements with reference to aseptic area, the walls, the floor, ceiling should be impervious, non-shading. Impervious, smooth, there should not be any cracks. Impervious, non-shading, you should not shade any of the wall material. Non-placking and non-cracking. Flooring should be unbroken and provided with the with a cove both at the junction between the wall and the doors as well as the walls and the ceiling. Wall shall be flat and ledges and recesses shall be avoided, whether other surfaces join the wall. Okay, and it should be provided with a cove at a point at a joint basically between the ceiling and the floor. Okay, the ceiling should be solid and the joint should be sealed. A light fitting and air grill shall be flush with the wall and not hanging from the ceiling so as to prevent any contamination. So there should not be any sink, drainage in grade 1 and grade B areas. So there are different grade area in manufacturing of parenteral section. This we also studied earlier also. Okay, I hope you have also studied in parenteral chapter. Door should be made up of non-shedding material. So this may be made preferably from aluminium or steel material. Wooden floor shall not be used, and doors shall open towards the high pressure area so that they close automatically due to the air pressure. So all these things, they are kept in mind. So the next point the next point is windows. Windows shall be made up of similar material as the door, preferably with the double panel, and shall be flush with the wall. The fire escapes are to be provided. These shall be suitably fastened to the walls without any gap. The furniture which is used shall be smooth, washable, and made up of stainless steel or any other appropriate material other than wood. Okay, so wood is completely avoided. Anything which is made up of wood should not be kept there, and wood. So preferably stainless steel equipment and stainless steel facilities, cupboard, shelves are made up of stainless steel in parenteral area. A change room, change room with entrance in the form of airlock shall be provided before entry into the sterile product manufacturing area and then to the septic area. Okay, so this is about change room. Okay, next is for communication between the aseptic area and non-aseptic area. Intercom telephones or speak phone shall be used. The purpose is we have to completely avoid the unnecessary movement of persons for any communication. Okay, so this shall be and this also shall be the minimum in number. Material transfer between aseptic area and outside shall be through suitable air lock or pass boxes. Door of such airlocks and pass boxes shall have suitable interlocking arrangements. Personal welfare areas like room, tea room, canteen, toilet shall be outside and separated from the sterile production manufacturing area. Animal house shall be completely avoided. Any manufacturing section like the biological manufacturing, hormone manufacturing, anything which involves the biological material should be completely separated from the sterile manufacturing area. Next is air handling system. So dear students, this is very important part which I am discussing here is air handling system. So air handling system is basically the air control in manufacturing area. The air which come across in the manufacturing area in parenterals or in ophthalmic preparation, sterile product preparation should be completely controlled. So air handling units for sterile product manufacturing shall be different from those area. Okay, because we have to control the air. Okay, we have to filter the air. That's why if you have studied it actually in parenteral dosage form, that air handling system, it comprises of preliminary filters and then HEPA filters, high efficiency particulate matter filter. Okay, preliminary air filters are fitted so that the air is filtered first from the preliminary filter, and then next to them the HEPA filters are there. HEPA filters are highly efficient. They can retain up to 0.33 micron particle size, and they are 99.9% efficient in their efficiency. Okay, so critical areas, especially such as aseptic filling area, sterilized component loading area, and change room, conforming to grade B, C, D respectively, shall have the different air handling units. Okay, The filter configuration in the air handling system shall be suitably designed to achieve the grade of air as well as in which is given in a tabular form that I will be discussing in next slides. Okay, look at this table. So dear students, this table is familiar to you, the airborne particulate classification for manufacturing of sterile product. Okay, so airborne classification as per schedule M, right? So look at the table, grade A, B, C, D. So these are different areas, grade A area, grade B, grade C and grade D. Now, the next is the maximum permitted number of particles per meter square equal or above at rest and in operation. Okay, so you can see the number which is permitted as per the different grades, grade A, B, C. Okay, so this is as per schedule M. So dear students, just go through from this table and wherever necessary, please do write this table in your answer. Now look at the table number 2. The types of operations to be carried out in the various grades for aseptic preparation. Okay, grade A, B, C, D. Okay, and types of operations for aseptic area. So grade A is always for aseptic preparations and filling, and grade B background room conditions for activities requiring for grade A. Okay, and grade C preparation for solutions to be filtered, and grade D handling of component after washing. So this table is very important, dear students. Just please do remember this table. I don't know anything. Just you have to remember that grade A, B, C, D, and grade A is for aseptic area and filling, which is very crucial, which is very important. Okay, and grade B background room conditions for activity requiring for grade A, right? And preparations of solutions to be filtered in grade C, and handling of component after washing in grade D. Now look at the another table, types of operations to be carried out in the various grades for terminally sterilized product. Okay, grade A, C and D. The type of operations for terminally sterile product, sterilized product. Grade A, filling of product which are usually at risk, right? And grade C, placement of filling and sealing machines, preparation of solutions when usually at risk. And grade D, molding, preforming, operations of plastic containers, preparations of solutions component and subsequent filling. Okay, now for the products which are filled aseptically, the filling room shall meet grade B conditions at unmanned. Okay, this condition is also be obtained within a period about 30 minutes of the person's leaving the room after completion of operations. The filling operations shall take under grade A condition, which shall be demonstrated under working of suitable conditions, which shall be achieved by providing laminar air flow workstation with suitable HEPA filters. Okay, so these two things are very important, laminar airflow and HEPA filters in the septic area, and we are discussing here the air control system, basically the guidelines provided for air control system for parenteral preparations, right? Okay, for the products which are terminally sterilized, the filling room shall meet grade C condition at rest, and manufacturing and component preparation area shall meet the grade C condition, after completion of preparation, waste component and vessels shall be protected with grade D background and shall be handled in such a way that they are not recontaminated. Okay, so this should be kept in mind always. Okay, next point is the minimum air change for grade B and grade C area shall not be less than 20 air changes per hour in a room with good airflow pattern and appropriate HEPA filters. And the next is the differential pressure between area of different environmental standards shall be at least 15 Pascal. Okay, so suitable manometers or gauges shall be installed to measure and verify the pressure differential. Okay, the next and the last point in this category is the final change room shall have the same class of air specified for the specific area. Okay, the pressure differential in the change room shall be in the descending order, actually descending order from white to black. Okay, so next is environment monitoring for sterile manufacturing products. Okay, sterile manufacturing area. So all the things which we studied in air control system is verified and fixed in environment monitoring at the time of installation and thereafter monitored at a periodic intervals. Okay, so particulate monitoring air, and we have to do it regularly, and we can say periodically. HEPA filters integrity testing, air change rate, air pressure differential, temperature and humidity, and microbiological monitoring by sterile plates. Okay, and or swab in aseptic area. So now there shall be a written environment monitoring program and microbiological results shall be recorded. So recommended limits for microbiological monitoring of clean area in operations are given in this table. So look at this table. This table says the air sample, colony forming unit per meter and grade for different grades. Grade A, grade B, grade C and grade D. So dear students, just go through from this table which is there on your slide that what are the limits for the for different grades. Okay, now appropriate action shall be taken immediately if the result of the particulate and microbiological monitoring indicates that the count exceeds the limit. That means if anything goes wrong, immediately the action is taken, okay, by the maintenance and monitoring department as to control over any contamination, any chances of contamination, right? So the standard operating procedure shall contain the corrective actions. So after the major engineering modifications to HVAC system of any area, all monitoring shall be re-performed before production commences. Okay, next is garment. The garment requires for use by persons who are working in parenteral, in sterile, or you can say parenteral, or in the manufacturing of ophthalmic preparations which are sterile products, right? So what are the requirements? So the garment should be made up of non-shading and tight wave material. Cotton garment shall not be used. The garment shall shed virtually no fiber or any particulate matter which can invite any contamination. Okay. The next is the clothing, and its quality shall be adopted to the process and the workplace and worn in such a way as to protect the product from contamination Okay, garment shall be single piece with fastening at cuffs, neck and at legs to ensure close fit. Trouser legs shall be tucked inside the cover boots. Okay, so suitably designed garment shall either include a hood to cover the head, okay, or a separate hood which can be tucked inside the overall. Okay, so these pockets and pleats and the belt shall be completely avoided in the garment. Zips shall be of the plastic material. Garments with the damaged zip shall not be used. Okay, in the same topic, the next point regarding the garment is only clean, sterilized and protective garments are used. Okay, at the workstation especially, and gloves shall be made up of latex or other suitable plastic material and shall be powder free. Okay, so this shall be long enough to cover the wrist completely and allow the overall cuff to be tucked in. Footwear shall be of suitable plastic or rubber material and shall be daily cleaned with the bactericide, safety goggles or numbered glasses with the side extensions shall be used inside the aseptic area. Garment changing procedure shall be documented and operators training in this aspect should be ensured. So these are the requirements for garments. Okay. Next is sanitization. Sanitization, there shall be a written procedure to maintain the sanitization of the sterile processing facilities, right? The different sanitizing agents shall be used in rotation and in the concentration of the same shall be as per the recommendations of the manufacturer. Distilled water freshly collected directly from the distilled water plant or the water maintained above 70° centigrade from the recirculation loop shall only be used for dilution of disinfectant. This is very important point here. The disinfectant which we need to dilute the water which we are using for the dilution must be distilled water, otherwise there is no use because the water will contaminate the disinfectant itself. Okay, where the alcohol or isopropyl alcohol is used for dilution of the disinfectant for use as hand spray, the preparation of the same shall be done in bulk preparation area in grade C. Diluted disinfectant shall bear the label before use, okay, based on the microbiological establishment of their germicidal property. Formaldehyde or any other equally effective fumigant is recommended for the fumigation of aseptic area after the major civil modifications. Next is cleaning of sterile processing facility shall be undertaken with the air suction device or with non-limiting sponges or cloth. Air particulate quality shall be evaluated on a regular basis and the records of each and every operations is documented. Okay, the last topic in this module, dear students, I hope you are enjoying this module because these are just guidelines actually provided as per the schedule and the guidelines, GMP guidelines, GMP practices. Specifically, we are discussing here with reference to sterile dosage form. Okay, so in this we discussed lot many things. I will summarize, but before that, the last thing about equipment. The special equipment required for manufacturing of sterile product. It includes the component washing machines, steam sterilizer, dry heat sterilizer, membrane filter assemblies, manufacturing vessel, blenders, liquid filling machine, powder filling machine, seeding, labeling machine, vacuum testing chambers. Okay. So, and lyophilizer, pressure vessels, etc. So, suitable and fully integrated washing, sterilizing, filling lines may be provided for these. A unit sterilizer shall be double-ended with suitable interlocking arrangements between the doors. The effectiveness of the sanitization process shall be established initially by biological inactivation studies using microbial spore indicators, and then at least once a year by carrying out the thermal mapping of these chambers. Filling machine shall be challenged initially and then at a periodic level by simulation trial including the sterile media fill. So SOPs, standard operating procedures and accepting criteria for media fills shall be established, justified and documented. The construction material which is used for the parts which are in direct contact with the product and the manufacturing vessel may be made up of stainless steel, as I said, stainless steel 316 or borosilicate glass if it is a glass container, and the tubing shall be capable of being washed and autoclaved. Okay, so on procurement, installation, qualification of each of the documents shall be done by engineers with the support of production and quality assurance persons, right? And the standard operating procedure shall be available for each equipment for its calibration and operation and cleaning. This is very important. Okay, SOPs are standard operating procedures. Okay, so it should be available for calibration validation for each and every equipment, and it is also fixed that which equipment is periodically needs validation, calibration, and so all these things are fixed and each operation is documented. So dear students, this is about the equipment in parenteral manufacturing area, in sterile product manufacturing area. So these are the references. Okay, just go through from the references. These are direct guidelines which I have taken from the standard document. So just go through once in detail. So now let us quickly summarize this module. So dear students, I hope that you have enjoyed this module. Today we discussed about GMP guidelines, specific requirements for manufacturing of sterile products. Okay, sterile products, you can take example parenteral and ophthalmic products. These are sterile products. So what are the requirements of manufacturing these products we discussed in this module, and this is part 1. Okay, this is part 1, and part 2 we will be discussing the remaining things. Okay, but in part 1 we discussed air handling system, okay, regarding the requirements of the building and civil environment control. We discussed equipment, sanitization. So the requirements regarding the sanitization, clothing, okay, garments we discussed, equipment, air handling system and environment monitoring system. So all these things we discussed in this module. So dear students, stay tuned for more videos, and thank you so much for watching this video.